big breaking news out of Toronto because the Blue Jays have now officially called up their number one prospect and the number 4 overall prospect in baseball, catcher Gabriel Moreno, up to the big leagues. It's been rumored for a day or two now, but due to Danny Jansen's injury, but now it is officially official. The Blue Jays have called him up. We'll get into Moreno, what we expect him to be in the future, and what he can contribute to the Blue Jays right now. We'll cover all that here on Bleacher Brawls. My name is Derrik, and let's get into it. This is obviously very big news for the Blue Jays, and they have graduated a lot of really, really good prospects recently to the big league level. It's actually a little ridiculous when you look back to 2018. They brought up Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Danny Jansen. 2019 was the big year of Vlad Jr., Bo Bichette, Kevin Biggio, and Jordan Romano. 2020 was Espinal and Alejandro Kirk, who's now the Blue Jays catcher, who's making case for an all-star season this year. Last year in 2021, it was Alek Manoah. And now this year, it looks like it'll be Gabriel Moreno, obviously. Well, it doesn't look like it will be. It will be Gabriel Moreno. Actually is Gabriel Moreno now, as he's officially called up now. And big news. Obviously, Moreno is a 22-year-old catcher. Obviously, throws right-handed. He's a catcher. Also hits right-handed. And is he a bat-first catcher? Yes. He originally was an infielder when the Blue Jays signed him. However, his defense has been massively improved since he signed for just $25,000. He has been massively improved defensively, and the offense has always been there. Last year, he played in AA and AAA, but the AAA was only 3 games. So he basically just played in AA last year. Just 32 games, but a 373 average, a 441 on base, and a 651 slugging, 9 doubles, 8 homers, 45 RBIs in 32 games. That's ridiculous. Obviously did miss a little bit of time last year. This year so far in AAA, in 36 games in AAA this year, he's hitting 324 with a 380 on base, only a 404 slugging for a 784 OPS. He's got 8 doubles. The home run power hasn't really been there this year. Just 1 homer. But in 23 RBIs, he's drawn 12 walks, 26 strikeouts. He does get 3 stolen bases. But the bat's always going to be there. The power's a little bit down this year, but he's hitting for a lot of average. And for a catcher, at the end of the day, if you're a bat first catcher and you're hitting, well over 300, even if the home run power isn't there, he's still hitting the doubles. So you can work with it. His scouting grades from MLB Pipeline are on the 20 to 80 scouting scale. 60 for the hit, 55 for the power, 45 for the run, 55 for the arm, 55 for the field, and an overall grade of a 60. He has been, very, very good so far, and he has proven that he can be behind the plate, especially, he wasn't originally a catcher, originally an infielder, and they moved him to catcher, and he's just continuously proved behind the plate that he can handle being a catcher. And it's not just the, calling a game. It's also, he's gotten better at blocking. He's been better at framing pitches, getting better at calling the game. He's more confident behind the plate than he's ever been in calling a game. And so much, he's turned himself into all-around catcher, and that's why he's the number 4 ranked prospect in baseball and the number 2 ranked catcher's prospect just behind Adley Rutschman. And the catcher prospect right now is the stock for catching prospects right now is very high. There's a lot of good ones. You have Rutschman, obviously, who will eventually lose his prospect status. You have Moreno, who's the 4th ranked prospect in baseball. But then you have Francisco Alvarez from the Mets, who's the 7th ranked prospect in all of baseball. So, and then Henry Davis is number 20 for the Pirates. Diego Cartaya 24th for the Dodgers. So there's just a lot of good catching prospects. Campusano at 38 and Shea Langeliers at 40. So that's like 8 guys in the top 40. So it's, let me see, that's 7 guys in the top 40 prospects that are catchers. So the catching depth in the big minor leagues right now, and the catching depth in the minor leagues, total minor leagues at the top, like the top level talent behind the plate for prospects is very, very good right now. And Gabriel Moreno is one of the guys that's heading that. He's at the top of that, right next to Adley Rutschman. And He's only 22 years old. And he'll be making his debut today, maybe today, maybe not. We'll find out. But he's officially been called up today, and it's going to be very interesting to see how if the Blue Jays will use him, first of all, because at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure they still have Zach Collins on the roster, and Alejandro Kirk's having an all-star season. So will Moreno even get to play and make his debut? We'll have to see if that happens, and if he does, what does he do in his debut? Obviously, debut doesn't define a career, but it's still nice to see a guy have a successful MLB debut. It takes that pressure off their shoulders of getting that first hit out of the way, or whatever it is, getting that first whatever hit, strikeout, first inning done without giving up a run. All that stuff matters, even though it's not really a big accomplishment. It helps the player kind of calm down a little bit at the end of the day. So that's huge. Obviously, he's a little shorter in stature. He's only 5'11", but at the end of the day, I honestly, catching wise, even though he's 5'11", I don't think at the end of the day it matters if he's good behind the plate. And obviously, he's a bat first catcher, so the bat should always be there. So it's very exciting for the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays, it's like they just keep on getting these guys, and their player development has been very good. Moreno isn't a guy that they signed like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Like, everyone knew he was going to be good. Like, let's be honest. Everyone knew he was going to be good. I got to see him when he was in Dunedin, and it was like, oh yeah, this kid's going to be special. But Gabriel Moreno wasn't necessarily always like that. You got to remember, with him, he was just signed for $25,000 out of Venezuela, and I mean, and this is more of a player development than the guy already being, at that really high level when he signed him. This is a big player development for the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays have proven to have very good player development recently. And you get into Moreno a little bit. He's got that kind of ceiling, that all-star ceiling, if not higher. You're probably looking, and it's not a straight up comparison. Don't get me wrong. It's not a straight up comparison of how they play or whatever, but it's sort of similar ceiling, almost like a Wilson Contreras ceiling, in the sense of Wilson Contreras could be an all-star literally every single year. Bat first catcher who, in my opinion, is, at the very least borderline all-star like every year. And it's probably going to be a perennial. I think the ceiling of him is a perennial all-star. We don't normally see catchers who are the face of franchises anymore. I think Buster Posey maybe was the last one of them. Maybe Adley Rutschman will be one. Who knows? But it's a big day for the Blue Jays and their prospects. In the sense of everyone thought their prospect system was kind of done. They called up kind of all their guys, especially with the Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bichette, and Biggio, and all those guys coming up. Everyone kind of thought that their prospect system was okay. It's like it's kind of dying down, but the Blue Jays have had very good player development. They have Aurelvis Martinez, also is number 31 in MLB Pipeline's top 100 rankings as well, and he's projected to be up next year. They have Jordan Groshans, who's 71st. So it's not like they're not totally depleted. They have Ricky Tiedemann, who's 97th. So it's not like their prospect system's totally depleted, like people might have expected to be, considering all the good players that they've called up recently. It's actually a little ridiculous. It's like, okay, guys, can we slow down? Because, like, as a Red Sox fan, it's like, can y'all stop calling up these guys who are really, really good? Like, yeah, like you didn't get enough of them with calling up Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bichette and all these guys. You didn't get enough good players. Like, you just got to keep on calling these guys up. But the Blue Jays have had very good player development, and it's, props to the Blue Jays. They've done it, and it feels like every American League team right now, American League East team, has very good player development right now. We're seeing it with the Red Sox under Chaim Bloom. We've seen it with the Yankees, a little bit more at the MLB level with the Yankees, but that player, like a guy like Clay Holmes, for example, still at the MLB level, but that's still player development. Look at the Rays. The Rays have been doing it forever. The Blue Jays and a guy like Gabriel Moreno is a perfect example of it. And then even the Orioles, their prospect system is looking very good. So it just feels like every American League East team right now is just in an arms battle. It's just like, who has the most things? Baltimore's clearly building for the future, and their future does look bright long term. And then the other four teams are trying to win now, but also trying to keep the future in consideration as well. And we just see these big names getting called up. The Red Sox will eventually have Cassis at some point. The Rays brought up Wander Franco last year. The Blue Jays bringing up Moreno now, and then in 2019, obviously, it was in 2018. I can't remember, but it was that big Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Bichette, Biggio, that whole class. And the Orioles just brought up Adley Rutschman. The Yankees haven't had like a top prospect that they've brought up recently, at least that I can't think of one. I can't really think of one off the top of my head. But it's not like they don't. The Yankees still have some top level prospects. So they have Anthony Volpe, whatever you want to call it. We'll say his last name. They have Oswald Peraza, Jason Dominguez. Was nicknamed the Martian and struggled a little bit in his pro debut, but I'm still very high on him. So the Yankees still have that kind of somewhat of a top level farm system at the very least. So it's like the American League. It's like the American League East is just these teams are just ridiculous amount of talent, just all coming up and just getting guys, and it's like developing them very well at the minor leagues, but also in the big leagues with teams as well. Like the Yankees for Clay Holmes was a perfect example. The Rays have done it with like a gazillion guys. So I don't even need to go into examples for the Rays. The Red Sox have done it a little bit, especially recently with Chaim Bloom. They've done it a little bit more. And obviously the Blue Jays had player development's been good, and the Orioles player development has been good. The Orioles bullpen this year looks amazing, and that's if your team is bad, normally your bullpen's the worst thing about it because you can't get anyone to pitch in your bullpen because you're bad. But the Orioles bullpen this year has been very good. So and a lot of them has been getting relievers to they've made the relievers better, or they're transitioning a guy from starter to reliever, and that transition is helping the player get better. So it's the AL East right now is almost like an arms battle. It's just like arms. It's like just everyone's bringing in these arms, and they're arms in the sense, not in arms in the sense of pitching, but arms in the sense of like players, and just like bringing this. Like it's like, come on. It's like one team brings up one guy. It's like the Orioles bring up Adley Rutschman. So the Blue Jays bringing up Gabriel Moreno. And the next thing Red Sox are going to bring up Tristan Cassis. Then the Yankees are going to bring up someone. Then the Rays are going to bring up someone. The Rays kicked it off last year with Wander Franco. So we're seeing a lot of these big name guys debut, and it's very exciting for baseball. I hope Moreno does get to play. I don't know how long he will be in the majors. But I do hope he does get to play. I'd like to see him play personally, obviously. I'm big on prospects getting. I don't like seeing prospects get called up in that for a short time because of an injury and then not making their debut. And that's a little worry I have with Moreno because the Blue Jays already do have 2 catchers on the roster. He'll make 3. I know they've been carrying 3 catchers all year, but it's still, I still hope he does get that playing time because that's the only concern for me with him right now is he going to actually get playing time with the Blue Jays? We'll see, but it seems like but now that he is called up, that's nice. And hopefully we'll get to see him play in at least one game. Hopefully he can get his first big league hit and get his big league career moving in the right direction. But that's going to wrap everything up here. I don't have anything else to add. At least I don't think I do. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Make sure to look in the description, check out the Bleacher Brawls website, podcast, Instagram, the Twitter, and all the crew's Twitters are also down there as well. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share this video when you're down there looking at the description as well. Make sure to comment. We'd like to hear your thoughts. We're going to be active in the comment section, so make sure to do all that. And yeah, this is the Gabriel Moreno video as he just got called up. I'm very excited about him. Are you excited about him? Let us know in the comments. And that's it. My name is Derek. This is Bleacher Brawls. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.